Whether it's a lager or an ale, whether it's a stout, light, dark, or pale. If you can brew it, Chad can review it. It's time for Chad's Beer Reviews. He's not quite an amateur, not quite a connoisseur, but regardless of the brewer, he's got taste in beer for sure.
You can tell just by his gut, this guy is a bona fide beer nut.
So whether it's a porter or an IPA, whether it's from Europe or the USA, if you can brew it, Chad can review it.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Chad's Beer Review. And the beer I'm going to be drinking today is a hometown beer made right down the road from me. This is Brown's Pilsner. This is probably the best Pilsner I've ever had in my life. But I've only had it at the brewery in Troy. I've never had it out of the bottle, so we'll see if it holds up. It's 4.75% alcohol by volume. There's a long description on the back. It says, our Pilsner is crafted with spicy Saaz Hops, 𝗑𝗫𝗀𝘀, Pilsner, and white wheat malts, and a traditional brewer's yeast used to ferment some of the finest Pilsners in the world. The result is a complex and full-bodied style that is dependably crisp and refreshing. Then there's some other stuff about the reservoir, but that being said, I'm gonna get to pouring here. The glass I'm gonna use today is my Brown's tumbler pint glass that I got from the brewery. I do have a Pilsner glass, but you know, I thought I'd just use this one just because it's the same. So that being said, let's give it a pour here. Alright, as you can see, I got a nice pour, and I think this is actually a bottle conditioned beer, or unfiltered, because there is definitely yeast at the bottom, and you can see this kind of lava lamp effect. See how it's all cloudy up here? It's starting to swirl down to the bottom. Got about a 2-finger head. It's white, foamy, soapy, whatever you want to call it. As far as the smell, it smells like a pretty typical Pilsner. I mean, I wouldn't call it grainy because I don't want to compare it to like, Molson or Budweiser or something like that. It's a fairly clean smell, like kind of a little bit crispy in the nose, but it's just like a typical Pilsner without like that off-putting adjunct quality that you get in a lot of those cheap pale lagers and things like that. It's definitely not skunky like in Heineken or something like that. So that being said, I'm going to dive into it. Alright, well, the first thing I notice is that the beer does not hold up in the bottle. On tap, this is like a very almost fruity kind of beer, extremely refreshing. Out of the bottle, if I took this in a blind taste test, I might not be able to differentiate between this and maybe Sam Adams Noble Pils or any of those European pale lagers. Well, it just doesn't have a skunky scent to it. Okay, it's pretty crisp. It even has like a little bit of like a lime kind of flavor to it. Not much else to speak of. I mean, it's just a pretty generic Pilsner taste. I mean, it's very crisp, very light. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's watery, but it is light body. But I mean, that's the whole point. It's a Pilsner. Not as much taste here as there is on tap. Like I said, on tap, it's so good. It's just so refreshing and has like this kind of fruity sweetness to it. Here, it's just rather generic. But that being said, I'm just gonna drink this and we'll come back with my final thoughts. Well, I'm back, and as you can see, I just have a little bit of beer here left. I have to say, I was rather disappointed on how this translated from the tap to the bottle. on tap, it's like very lemony, citrusy, sweet. But in the bottle, it's just tasting like something very generic. It's not bad, but it's not nearly as good as it is at the brewery. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give my final chug, my final thoughts and grades. As far as final thoughts and grades, I don't know. I'm kind of mixed. This is like, as of this serving, it's more like an above average to maybe good beer. At the bar itself, I'd probably call it excellent. So, should I compromise and say somewhere in between, or should I just grade the bottle for what it is? I guess I'll just grade the bottle. It's not the Pilsner, it's the Tomhannock Pilsner. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Named after the Tomhannock Reservoir up there in Troy. So, as far as final thoughts and grades, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of the bottle. It's a good beer. It's not great. It's tasty. It's drinkable. I think anybody could drink this. It just doesn't really have a whole lot of like genuine flavor. It tastes very similar to something made by the Big Three or one of those European green bottle imports. So if you have the opportunity to go to Brown's Tap Room in Troy, get this there. It's so much better, and it's such an easy drinking beer with real flavor. So again, that was the Tomhannock Pilsner from Brown's Brewing. And until next time, thanks for watching.
Somebody brewed it, Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Review. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.